right, so let's go back to thinking about how we've got this Beyond Petroleum campaign that really makes BP look good. And we're going to look at the next sentence. Before the spill transformed that slogan into a punchline for late night comedians. So, what that means is that before the oil spill, and we've got this idea of turning the slogan into a punchline for late night comedians. The idea there being that people made fun of Beyond Petroleum. So, maybe with other jokes to talk about how terrible they are for the environment when really what they were trying to show before was how good they are for the environment. So that's what that means there. Before people were mocking BP or making fun of them for how terrible their impact on the environment was, the Madison Avenue had lauded BP's efforts to position itself as the greenest fossil fuel producer. So what we've got here in paragraph 3 is showing that within corporate America, BP was doing good things. So within corporate America, BP was doing good things. And so we've got, this is an example. So paragraph 3 and 4, paragraph 3 and 4 give examples. And the examples are within corporate America, BP and also Goldman Sachs were doing good things. Because if you look at the next paragraph, paragraph 4, Goldman Sachs, let me go ahead and change that. I misspelled that. Goldman Sachs, they're a financial company who had a 10,000 Women project. So the initiative to organize and fund business education for 10,000 underserved women around the world is the limousine of CSR drives. Smart, innovative, and absolutely in tune with Nicholas Kristof and Sherry Woodoon's Half the Sky Zeitgeist. So what they're saying here is that the same way that BP had a flashy advertisement that said that they were good at protecting the environment, and were recognized by corporate America as helping the environment, the same way that BP was thought of in that way. Corporate America thought of Goldman Sachs as also being similarly benevolent and helping of people, because they were helping underserved women, and these underserved in quotes might indicate some kind of sarcasm around it, might show that they're not taking that Chrystia Freeland doesn't believe that they're really taking the underserved correctly or finding the truly underserved. And you've got this last part, which I think just, kind of supports what those previous points are, where you've got, absolutely in tune with Nicholas Kristof and Cheryl Woodoon's Half the Sky Zeitgeist. So we're not sure if you want to look up, we've got these two authors. So let's look up Half the Sky book. Let's try that and see what happens. So if we look up the book, we can see that we've got those authors, Nicholas Kristof and Cheryl Woodoon. So we've got this book that is talking about, we can look at a little bit of the summary. So from two of our most fiercely moral voices, a passionate call to arms against our era's most pervasive human rights violation, the oppression of women and girls in the developing world. So it looks like what they're doing is they're looking at stories of women in different countries, particularly how some of those women are often oppressed. And it looks like that was released in 2010, maybe even before, because that's the paperback version. So it's possible the hardcover version came out a little bit earlier. I'm not sure, but let's go ahead and make. So what we see here is this drive, like it's a very hot topic within the United States, within the world, to really be supporting women's rights, to help them out. So again, we've got Goldman Sachs and and BP doing good things by kind of really drawing on hot topics at the time, so women's rights and environmentalism, by I think capitalizing or doing good things by using campaigns that addressed hot topics. So these things that are really, kind of at the forefront of people's minds at these times. And I think, even today. So we've got these examples in paragraphs 3 and 4. So let's look at paragraph 5. But the Gulf oil spill and the financial crisis have taught us rather brutally that the heart of the relationship between business and society doesn't lie with the charitable deeds that companies do in their off hours, but whether they are doing their day jobs in ways that help or hurt the rest of us. While BP was winning plaudits for being the first oil company to accept global warming as a scientific fact, the old school Texas oilmen at ExxonMobil were unfashionably apologetic about their core mission to produce oil. Chastened by the Exxon Valdez disaster, however, they also became religious about safety standards. With hindsight, the attention to safety turns out to have had much greater social value than any number of creative CSR drives. So let's kind of pick apart this paragraph, because we can see the idea that what we're looking at in paragraph 5, and then also I think in paragraph 6 is the idea of contradicting this idea that the companies are doing good things. So while paragraphs 3 and 4 give examples, I'm gonna say a little bit more about this, about the specific examples we see, because in the next time we see examples as well. So, and actually I'm going to leave that for now because I think that after maybe defining like the examples in the next part is going to maybe help me a little bit more. So we've got this, let's go ahead and say paragraph 5 and 6 are also giving examples. And 6, give examples to counter the idea that, to counter this idea that BP and these corporate, these CSR measures are good. So to counter opposite view. So let's go ahead and let's kind of summarize what these means. And before we summarize, let's go ahead and annotate and kind of figure out like what's going on in these, because I think what they're giving us is like a lot of information. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here, but we'll pick up going through paragraphs 5 and 6 and talking a little bit more about